Now at that time, I found myself having to go back to my grandparents' house. No education, no work, no job. A young girl who is now pregnant, and now I'm trying to look for this guy whom, in my mind, whom I know, this one made me pregnant, and then this guy now ulala duck and dive. Hi vela what if akusumntwanami? Hi vele, you know what I mean? So
it was a lot. I'm sorry.
it was a lot at
So
that time.
sorry.
And the worst part, no, I'm fine.
Let me just get you.
Worst part, you would get people that were saying, oh no, Palisa ufuna ukumbamba ngomntwana. How can a gay give birth to a child? And
I've been through hell and back, nobody by my side, nobody to console me, nobody to call home me. Hey, wakimanje kakoma, barnendi votonga. I've been through hell and back, nobody by my side, nobody to console me, nobody to call home me. Hey, wakimanje kakoma, barnendi votonga.
Hi ninjas, how are you doing? It's a girl, Owamie, and welcome back to another episode of To Hell and Back. If it's the first time joining me, you're most definitely welcome. Please do make sure that you subscribe and obviously hit the bell. I absolutely love you. Now my ninjas, today, I'm out of breath because I have flu, guys. I have flu. We only have 2 angles today because I try to distance us because I don't want to give her the flu. But anyway, guys, in studio, welcome the gorgeous, forever youthful Palisa. How are you?
Hi, Ninja. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm born again.
You're
Happily,
gorgeous.
I'm gorgeously
You
50th floor this year.
I'm shocked. I'm
50 and
shocked.
fabulous.
No, you know, like that people that when you look at them, like in pictures, they look young. And then when you meet them, you're like, okay, nothing wrong with you, but you don't look like your pictures. You look younger than your pictures. How is that even possible?
Hey, thank my mom. Huh?
Is it genes? There's nothing you do.
I think it's genes. But I know one thing for sure. You glow differently when you're a child of God.
Wow.
Bonele.
Hi, Shem. I'm a child of God. Maybe I should be a child of God extra.
You grow younger and younger. Every time, when you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you glow very differently,
Oh, wow. Well, welcome to an episode of To Hell and Back.
Hey, that one, hell and back. Okay.
Okay. We've been to hell and back. I mean, some people's bargaining destination, like distance, is further than others. But still, we go to hell and back. We do. Okay, so I think that we're going to go ahead and just start off by, please just introduce yourself. Even though I know she needs no introduction, but let's just say I'm Owamie. I've never met you. I don't know who you are. I've never come across anything about you.
Okay.
Who would you say you are?
Okay, Galina, my name is Palisa. Ke nompumelelo Madisakwani. Ke kokomani ya Sebulai. Ha ke re kokomani, it means I'm a granddaughter of the Sebulai family.
Okay.
Bakhatla bakhasidibela. Bo mama fura theko bo khabo mokhatla. So basically now I was born ko gae. Ke ngwana malume. You can just say that,
Okay.
It means when your mom has a child before marriage, so I was born at my grandparents' house.
Okay.
Ko habo mama. So
Okay.
that's why I always say ke ngwana wa ke kokomane ga Sebulai. My grandfather ke Sebulai. So ke na mokhatla, and then my grandmother ke Latwala, always saying ngulatwala. Umnyamato konto duma njengetulu umnyango vala ngamakhanza amatsotsi.
Okay.
That's my grandmother. But then when my grandparents passed away, we all went to our mother's homes, and that was when my mom got married to my dad, my father, Papa.
Okay.
Madisakwani,
Okay.
So ki Madisakwani ki ke di roba tlhakola tsa ga mmasedi a mphila tse di reng di a roba di a selo so ke palesa ke madisakwane yep ke tshwere ya kasi. Yeah, I
That's
grew
what
up
you
in
call, right?
Soweto.
Like, yeah, no, you definitely know your roots.
No,
which
yeah,
is very good.
I know who I am and I know whose I am. And by saying whose I am born again. I am created in the image of God, washed and cleansed by the blood of Jesus Christ. I am an overcomer. I'm a victor in Christ Jesus. I am blessed going in and I'm blessed going out. I'm a royal priesthood.
Preach.
I know who I am and I know whose I am. I serve a living God. I serve Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah El Shaddai, Jehovah Alpha, Jehovah Omega, Jehovah Sabaoth, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah my provider. I know whose I am.
Wow. You,
Let me not. Okay. Let me calm down. Before I say Jesus is Lord, before I say Jesus, Jehovah Tabula Mazul. Before I say that.
I think it's so exciting to meet someone that is so passionate and also so I would say rooted in Christ, you know. And what I also loved here was that you were not only able to praise Jesus Christ, but you were also able to know like itagazelo, like your roots, you know, like the people that birthed you and everything. So honestly, I love that.
Amen to that.
You know,
Yeah.
But okay, let's go ahead and continue. Who is Palesa?
So who is Palesa? Palesa is a girl born and bred in Soweto, Kotiplufuko Haye. Then like I said, when my grandparents passed on, I call them my parents because mama li papa. You know when you grow up, you know, under your grandparents, ke mama li papa, and your mom ke ospam.
Yes, it's like that.
So that's where I grew up from both parents. But then as time went on, I think my parents got separated. And I think the marriage, my mom and dad, I think that marriage destroyed my mom so much because my mom ended up being an alcoholic when she separated with my dad. And I think that was the most tough part of my life, growing up with a mother who ended up being an alcoholic, all because of love, all because of marriage. It was the saddest part of my life when I experienced, you know, sometimes my mom not being able to wake up and go to work as a teacher that she was, a beautiful woman, when I saw alcohol really destroying her life. I think that was the most painful part of my life. And I think in that, when I experienced that, it made me not to even want to touch alcohol today. Like, I don't drink, or I've never drank, I don't smoke, because I think it affected me psychologically. So every time when I hear the smell, you know, of alcohol, or, you know, I just get turned off. But I don't mind when people drink. I don't mind when my friends drink, you know, and it's okay. But for me, I think it's more of a psychological thing where,
with your mom.
I experienced, and I was like, you know, I don't want that for me or for my children. And when you also look at my family background, most of my aunts and, you know, from my mom's side of the family, there were people that were drinking, and most of them were also destroyed by alcohol. So when my mom passed on, she died because of what they term liver cirrhosis.
She was drinking that much?
Yeah. Wow. When I say she ended up being an alcoholic, that's what happened. So, And, I think it affected her liver to an extent that the liver was irreversible, you know. Yeah, but may her soul rest in peace. But all that I keep in my mind is the beautiful woman that she was, a decent woman that she was, you know, a teacher by profession, and a woman who loved beauty, a woman who loved, you know, like my mom would walk into a room, you would not feel her presence. You know, she loved hosting, she loved partying, she loved being beautiful. She's the one that introduced me to modeling, to acting, you know. So she was a lively spirit. So that's who, you know, Ospem was. So anyway, I do have my sister, my younger sister, Bunolo, you know, beautiful woman who looks like my mom. Right now, she's my confidante. So that is basically who I am. And besides what people think they know about me, maybe let me just break the ice and obviously talk about maybe what people want to know about me. When I was 19 years old, I think I was 17 years old when I met some guy wako Orlando, that guy Nale, he was famous and everything, and to me I was like, hey, can I boyfriend, and yeah. So but then the relationship, I can't say whether it was a relationship as such, because most of the time he was away in Naneke local boarding school, so we would meet whenever we meet at that time. And I think when I was 19 years old, that's when I thought in my mind, hey, now we're dating, I've got this boyfriend, whom, to me, he was my boyfriend, And yeah, I fell pregnant at 19, I think he was 21. No, not at 19, at 20. I fell pregnant with this guy, and then boom, all of a sudden the guy gay. I'm like, what is being gay? What's halang? You know what I mean? Or gay juang, you know what I mean? But the funny thing is, it's not like he said it per se. I started like seeing things like when I was pregnant. That's when it came out. When the sister was saying, no, this person is different. And I would also see the friends that he kept, you know what I mean? And when I was pregnant, that's when I found out he had another boyfriend, you know what I mean? So that's when I started understanding, okay, what is it to be gay? And remember, back in those days, we didn't understand what is being gay. Now you are just a boy maybe who loved whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's I think that's what happened. But
story of your life.
It looks like you want to ask something.
I have many questions. I hate that I flew today.
Okay.
But I think that, in this instant, are you comfortable for me to say his name?
Of course, Kisomizi,
Okay,
Kisom Gaga, Kisomizi Mhlongo. I mean, it's never been a secret. I mean, like, I don't hide it. I don't feel embarrassed about it. I've never hidden it. I'm not embarrassed anymore about it. When I was young, obviously, I was a young girl going through stuff, and Lena being shy, being looked at as if that, oh, you're only gay, and go lokshini, go Soweto na kwateng, back in the days, they would even mention Barakestabani and things like that. So obviously it made me embarrassed, and you know what I mean. On top of that, what's happening, and so it was a part of my life where I was confused, I was hurt, I was not understanding. I was young, my first time, being pregnant, and now I had to raise this child all by myself. And he was not there, you know what I mean? Because maybe Leana shame at that time he was scared. Maybe Leana at that time he was going through what he was going through. Maybe Leana he was shocked because at that time when I was telling him we get pregnant, there were friends, bad friends that were saying, "Why, kanjani wena ngeke wenza umntwana uike unamanga?" You know what I mean? Because there would be people that were saying, "Oh no, ke batla mo tshwara jasi," because he was famous, and I'm like, so. A lot happened at that time, and it was also a time where, remember, at that time I was going through a lot. My mom and my dad were separating at that time. Now here I am, this young girl who is pregnant. My mom is an alcoholic. She's not giving me too much attention. They're separating now. I'm pregnant. I have to go back to my grandparents' house, where I go back to my grandparents' house now, into family, because my parents separated, balwana. So I go back to my grandparents' house. They're cousins, they're everyone, and this person is not there, like literally not there at all. And I would call and find out, what's happening. And the people that were supporting me at that time from his side of the family was the sister who has passed on now. Her name is Joyce. And the brother, the cousin brother, whom I call Bahumi's godfather, Kesfiso Twala. Like, those were the people that knew the relationship, that knew about me and that knew about us, that would comfort me. Because now at that time I found myself having to go back to my grandparents' house. No education, no work, no job, a young girl who is now pregnant, and now I'm trying to look for this guy whom, in my mind, whom I know, this one made me pregnant, and then this guy now ulala duck and dive. Hi vela what if akusumntwanami? Hi vele, you know what I mean? So
it was a lot. I'm sorry.
It was a lot at that time. And the worst part, No, I'm fine.
Let me just get you
Worst part, you would get people that were saying, oh, no, Palisa ufunugu, ufunugu mbamba ngomntwana. How can a gay give birth to a child? And I had to be strong, and I gave birth to this beautiful bundle of joy. And I remember when I was in hospital, because I had no one there, except my cousin, who's Carol, who would support me, and nabereka ko startup for, so she would come and maybe ampadi 100 rand, 20 rand. And I remember when I was in hospital, I gave birth to this child. I didn't even have clothes. And here I was giving birth to this child, and there was one of her aunts, at least I think the clothes said it donated, And I think I knew right there and there I need to, now I've got a baby now, I need to work hard and, just make sure I provide for this baby. And now I'm taking my baby back to my grandparents' house. Now it's a kikugitila, basically, kikugitila. I'm unemployed, I'm not working, like basically nothing. I think the first thing that I needed to do was to go and look for work. And at least in Ikinali Matric at that time, so I would wake up and Joyce, the sister, would come and look after the child because he was not there at all. At all. To an extent, I would honestly say, in a way, it was like Lena, he was not believing or maybe denying the child or anything like that. I don't know where he was at that time.
Mentally, yeah.
Mentally. That's why maybe Lena on his side. Right now, I can't judge him, because now if I take myself back to my younger days, maybe Lena, he was going through the stuff. Maybe the responsibility, maybe the fear, maybe, maybe like it, but I've never gotten the I'm sorry. I've never gotten the explanation, even 30 years later. My daughter just turned 30 now. Last week it was a birthday. So I've never gotten that from Yena. So I had to move on. But all I know, Guri, I needed to work myself up. I needed to make sure I feed this baby. I needed to make sure I clothe the baby. I needed to make sure, And the first thing that I did, at least the sister would come and look after the child, Joyce, may God bless her soul. And when Joyce was looking after the child, I would maybe take 20 rand and go look for a job. And I remember going to, there's a place called Orange Grove. There was a restaurant called Kauai Juice. And we were told they were looking for waitresses there. And took my younger self, left the child kontung. Nakwateng, there's no even milk, There's no food, there's no milk. Went to Kauai Juice, I got there. I give feedback, the manager's like, no, we already hired people. And I'm like, so what am I going to do? So I sat there, I think for about 2 to 3 hours, and then the manager comes back and says, no, Ntombazana, asakashi, bahambila. I was like, so I had to say to her, no, Puti, don't worry, but can you just try me, just try me out. You don't have to pay me. I just want to wait her, and then maybe you'll see, then you'll decide. And she's like, okay, fine, no problem. Just do it. They gave me an apron, and then I was saving. As I was saving then the people liked me so much, they gave me the tips.
Wow.
So I think I went back. At that time, it wasn't even a lot of money. Got tip 300 rand.
Oh,
I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so happy. So the manager says, no, you can come again tomorrow. So I remember Hake Chaisa on another time, I think about my 5 in going back, Kalako shop right checkasi, bought a tin of naan, bought a tray of eggs to go back, at home, you know what I mean? Because now, when you are back going your family, then you'd have cousins, but like, I call Mikey, this and this, you know what I mean? So going back home, Joyce is happy. I came with a tin of naan, I bought at least inyana, pampers inyana, and left money again to go back tomorrow because I knew, I was going to come back again with tips. So that's when it went on like that. And then from there, I was told, no, they're looking for, I think, a salesperson, go Mr. Price, go Hillbrow at that time. Still me going there. How Mr. Price look at thing no the kid temp. I'm like it's fine as long as I work. Get like I worked again at Mr. Price. So the funny thing that's what people don't know. I worked as a waitress. Back then, I worked at Mr. Price. And when I was at Mr. Price, that's when now I was told, oh no, at the Windy Brow Theatre, they're looking for a certain character. Because I had already started acting at that time. But, with acting as a, a teenager, there was some shows. Teens on a tightrope, SABC one. So I would appear here and there. When I got to the Windy Brow Theatre, then they'd already casted. And I demanded to see the director. And the receptionist was giving me an attitude, So I was like, no, can't the director is there in the office. I was like, no, I want to see Mr. Chakela. Mr. Chakela. So the receptionist now, yeah. So the way I was so adamant, can't the director is there. So the director said, who are you? No, Kepalisa, I want to act. I can act. I've done this and I've done that. The director said, come to my office. And she said, I'm Mr. Chakela. I was so happy. Immediately he took out the contract and signed me in and said, there's a play that's called Maru and we're looking for Margaret Cadmo Jr. I was so happy. The following day I caught that script. Go stage. I didn't even say bye-bye, go Mr. Price as a temp. I got in there, I hit my lines, and I think that was where my acting journey started. And I was getting paid 800 rands a month. Wow. The way I was so happy when I went to tell Joyce, that time. It was a lot, So I think at that time, that's when, because I was at home, I was not stable, I was not stable. To an extent, I would go back and forth, Gangwana, you know what I mean? So that was when Joyce said, you know what, Pumi, it's fine. Because even the home, the environment, you know what I mean? It's a family home, it wasn't really bangata. You know what, I will take this child. When I just go on with your life and do whatever, you know what I mean? I was like, I didn't have a choice. That was when I was like, I gave Joyce the child. I think Bahumi was 10 months old at that time, to say, I will go look for a job, I will do this and I will do that. And then every weekend from the Windy Brow Theatre, we would tour. Sometimes we would go do Julius Caesar, go tour in all, provinces. And Joyce took over the child. So that is how my daughter Bahumi went to stay. Not that he said, bring the child. Not that he was saying, yeah, the child is mine. Not that, because I think Joyce forcefully was like, mina ngizomkhulisa lo mntwana lo.
So wait, Joyce is like Somizi's biological sister. Same mom, same dad.
Same mom, same dad.
Okay, yes. So ki andwa hai,
yeah.
So I think before I actually get to the questions that I want to ask, I think it's so important because again, Somizi is a public figure.
Yes.
That this sit down has nothing to do with just trying to tarnish his name or anything like that. I want everyone to understand that. This is your story and you are going to tell it from your side of view and what you went through. And I truly do believe that everyone has a right, to tell and share their story. But I have so many questions
True
now.
That. Thank you.
I have so many questions now. First of all, I want to just say I'm so sorry.
No, it's
this is something that happened 29 years ago, and when you almost 30, right?
Yeah.
And when you actually 30 years ago.
I was 20 years, I think. Yeah, it's 30 years ago because my daughter just turned 30
now,
right now. Yeah.
So 30 years ago, and when you talk about it, you still do get emotional. You also did say a statement that said that 30 years later, I've never received an apology. My question to you is: have you ever sat down with Somizi and tell him the struggles that you went through? When he was in there and the things that you had to go through and how you felt about everything till today. Have you ever done that?
No, I've never done it. I think maybe that's why I cry, Not that, sometimes it's not like you really want somebody to come and say, hi, I'm sorry, or anything like that. But it would be, I think, ubuntu for somebody to acknowledge. But like I say, unless a Vienna, he doesn't see it that way, you know what I mean? It's okay. You cannot force somebody. Your life just needs to go on. He has never done it. I don't even think he ever will, or I don't even know if he ever will, and I don't even know whether he's aware, to me, I feel like he's somebody who's very self-centered. You know what I mean? It's all about him. And the sad part is because he is so famous and he's such a public figure, anything that you would say about someone like him, you would get his followers and his fans that will troll on you, that will, you know, and some of them would say, usamthanda, usahed namanje. Like, people can be so bitter, and you know, like the sad part or about having a child with someone who is so powerful in the media space, somebody who has so many followers, somebody who is so big, like people idolize him. People see him as, you know, like he is the God to them. He would never make mistakes. He is holy. He's the big guy, you know, don't touch. So if anyone else can, you know, say anything that is maybe not right about him, like people will come to you.
Like they will come for you.
I remember there was a time when I posted my kids. You know what I mean? I've got 3 kids, by the way. I've got a daughter, Owamie, my first one, and then I've got a son who's 21 years old. I've got 2 graduates in the house.
Is it?
Yeah, you know. And I've got my last one, Muhumi, as well. You know, I remember when I posted my 2 kids and I said, yo, God is so good. I've got 2 graduates, you know, being a single mom and everything. Yo, did you see people coming in my DMs? Say, what do you mean single mom? Who said she's never been there? I'm like, you know, I ended up just now blocking, because I'm not going to answer, especially the nobodies that are just sitting there in the corner, got the entire hotspot. You know?
Yeah, no, that is true. People on social media can piss you off, like a lot, you know. But
anyhow, all I'm just basically saying, Gori, some people can idolize someone so much, that person can never do wrong in their eyes. Even if you tell your side of the story, you know, to them he can never do wrong. He can never be wrong. So anything that you say about him, it will be you against them. You know. So it's like when you cannot tell your story. People have a way of shutting you down so much, of suppressing you so much, and being so like they can shut you up. And I think I've had to come up and say, now it is time for me to tell my story the way I want to. It is now time for me to talk. All along I've been quiet, and I've been quiet all because I was protecting this little girl so much from being bullied at school, because in the time when she was a teenager, she was being bullied, especially when people started to find out whose daughter she is. They would say, your dad is gay. Yeah, is your dad gay? And things like that. Whom would come back home crying and things like that. So I had to be the mother in that. The mother would have to kick in and say, I'm not going to go out and fight people. I'm not going to, you know, I did my best, the best that I could as a woman, as a mother, to protect this child from all these trolls, from going through what I went through when I was laughed at, when I was sown at, when I was rejected, when I was told you know, that's the words that I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying those words. I'm just telling you what people, you know,
were saying. And I think it's so important to also understand it was in an era where people were so misinformed. There was not a lot of information on, like, you know, people that are gay, you know, and all that stuff, and people were not as well knowledge. So I can't imagine. I feel like it would have definitely been a nightmare. And I think what the other aspect again that we have not spoken about is the shock that has to have come from you, because I do remember watching your diary session in one of the episodes, and you said, I had no idea. You understand? Like, just the shock of it. Can you walk me through, like, your feelings when you found out? Did you start off by having maybe denial, like, no, it can't be? And did you ever confront him to say, listen, I'm hearing this, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't even think we had a time to confront him, because he was a person at that time when I would want to talk to him, you know, going there. So there was never a time where we once sat down or discussed or talked about it, or there was never ever something like that ever in my life. So I had to be a big girl, put on my big panties on, and just move on with life and just overcome it. But I think at that time, my focus was on my child. My focus was on mothering this child and giving this child a best life. And, you know, I just had to protect my child. So I never even had a chance, Lina, to whether maybe if there was I don't even know anything that's called counseling. I never went to that. I never spoke to him about it, and everything was left up until, we had a show together, yeah, Living a Dream, and we had to act, and hey, now, but we've never had a one-on-one, and I think he would always avoid those things, you know what I mean? And it was just a thing where now life had to go on. But yeah, blessed enough, I think when I was that 21, that's when I met a very good man in my life. Unfortunately, we got divorced now, but I met a man, very good man. And Bahumi was 1 year old when I met this man. And he was my best friend at that time. I think we met at the theater. We were touring together. He was also an actor at that time before he went into advertising. And I think that's when he took over the role of being Bahumi's dad, Bahumi's father. Okay, so when Bahumi was 1 year old, I met my best friend. And at that time we were friends. I think we became friends for about 7 years, before we got married.
Oh, okay, you mean dating?
Yes, no, friends. We were like friends. Me and this man.
Wait, you were only friends?
We were only
not
friends.
Not in a relationship?
No, not in a relationship.
So for that whole 7 years, you were single?
When we were touring, I think, of course, no, I was a beautiful young girl,
Okay,
yes, not like dating
okay.
But then at that time, there was not even much dating because I was touring a lot. So I was touring with him. We were in the same play, like going Reza Maru, the Julius Caesars, and, this time, like when guys would ask me out, he would be very protective and, Yeah, so I think in that time we were like on and off, and then that was when we started moving in together, and eventually we were blessed with a son, and we got married, so I can say basically I was with this guy for over 15 years, we had a good 16, 17 years of 15 years married, 7 years being together, but married for 15 years. So what I'm basically saying is, if I can say there's anyone who is Bahumi's father, is my ex-husband. This man was there for Bahumi when Bahumi was even turning 1 year old. This man was there for Bahumi when Bahumi started school, even though Somizi would come here and there, you know what I mean? Because I think he had to accept, because now this child would do like Obona, and then whatever. But yeah, So when my son, when I think Bahumi was about, 6-7 years old, that's when I fell pregnant with my son. And I said to my ex-husband, Gara, I don't want to raise this child knowing I've got another child outside. And we had an agreement with her. She's like, yeah, of course. I mean, he would be the one picking up Bahumi Kari weekend from Somizi's home. They knew him as well, okay, he's Palisa's boyfriend. And so he was basically there for Bahumi since Bahumi was 1 year old. So we took Bahumi, and then that's when we started getting married. And it was a beautiful marriage, I basically, we married for about 15 years, and we were blessed again with my last baby. Her name is Muhumi. And Muhumi as well. So she's 16 years old right now. So I've got 3 kids, but unfortunately life happened, and I think in 2013 I filed for divorce, I think it was a lot there, but basically all I can say is I think it was more of family issues and, family coming in. And
his family and your family?
I would honestly say it's his family. I think with my ex-husband, he was a breadwinner from the side, He was a breadwinner, and here's this girl, Otswang Soweto, according to them, because the guy's from Mafikeng. Now you here, you're my son, you're working, and you're coming, this girl comes and stays with the child, and you are feeding this child, you are supporting this child, So I think one thing led to another, and I got so drained, when you end up, now you're in this marriage, but all I can say basically is I think I fell out of love with this man, where you're just now in a marriage and because but it wasn't about cheating or anything like that.
Would you say I'm so sorry to but I wanted to ask, would you say that you also had a huge issue with maybe he was unable to stand up for you to his family?
That's exactly what I'm saying. He would never, like, his family would never be wrong in his eyes. They were always right. Even if when they do wrong, he'd rather keep quiet when the family, you know, does anything wrong. But not the problem, the mistake.
They should be spoken.
Yeah, they should be spoken and things like that. And I think it drained me so much. I felt like, you know, and it was at that time, I think, you know, generations then, you know, I was also making my money and stuff. And when generation stopped and he also stopped working, business was not doing well. We lost our houses, we lost our house, we lost our cars, the finances as well at that time. I think, you know, having with kids, there was another child that I had that I adopted. And at that time, I think when things started, I was pregnant with my last one. I think as a young woman, I got drained so much. I got drained. I just ended up falling out of love with this man who's supposed to be my best friend, because I felt he was not protecting me as the woman who's supposed to be his wife, the mother of his kids, and my family. Not that I didn't want anything to do with the family, but it was like me and his family, and he couldn't stand up to his family.
There was the three of you guys in your marriage. It was you, him, and his family.
And his family.
I completely get you. I really, really do. And I think this is something that I've always said, you know, to say if there's any advice that I would give a young woman or a young man that is going into marriage, you not being able to stand up for your wife towards your family. That can destroy your marriage, because it starts actually building resentment. You know, you move from being resentful towards this person, you start looking at them weak, so you lose respect for them. And when you don't have respect for your man, it's an issue. Then you fall out of love, you know, and you know, obviously divorce is gonna come, even if he's a good man. But it really is an issue. So I do feel your points are definitely valid, but it's such a sad thing to see, you know, such a union for such a long time to come to an end. But are you guys like in good terms now?
Yeah, I think we are in good terms. Yeah, of course we are in good terms. I think right now obviously we were on and off, you know what I mean? I think right now we're doing the best that we can to co-parent because of the kids. We have 3 beautiful children. I think he's married now, you know, he paid lobola now, so life goes on. There's really nothing, you know, but I think what the painful part about our separation is that at that time when just even before we divorced, remember we separated at first. So in that separation, the only thing that I can say that I did, that I don't want to say I did wrong because I did it, you know. The thing is, but we had separated. I moved on with my life because we had separated in anyhow. So in that part when I moved on with my life, I don't know about him. If he did it, he probably did it respectfully or hiding. But at that time, I was a public figure. So anything that happens on my side,
it's gonna be exposed.
Yeah, it would be exposed, you know. So the only mistake that I can say I made at that moment was moving on before signing on paper the divorce. Because when the stories came out till now, I'm seeing someone else. At that time, we had not divorced on paper, but we had separated. But I was called names. I was a home wrecker. I mean, I was called a king sefebe. I was called names, bitch, whatever, all these names.
How long had it been with your separation when you moved on?
I think it was about 3 years.
What?
I think it was 3 years, yeah.
What? 3 years? And they're calling you that? They
but
should
you know
how long I lasted after my now was already moved on. No ways.
Yeah,
3 years, that's very long.
It was.
Not for even 6 months. Like,
but even in that 3 years, there was a time where we still stayed together, but we were not together, you know. Yeah. But by the time when I started moving on, we were not staying together. Yeah.
So you were also very respectful, I personally feel. I mean, yeah, man. Now I personally encourage moving on.
Yeah.
So, but then did that ever like be an issue between you and him?
Oh, it was a huge issue. It was a huge issue. Now that was when like those in-laws are like, oh, boleletse, hey, you know, yeah. I think it also hurt him because obviously now, whatever, remember that people know me and him. So whenever I'm in the papers, whenever, you know, this story saga, like anything that's written about me come out, people would call him.
They drag him
They
as
drag
well
him.
in it,
yeah, like everything. Do you see Palisa? Do you see what happens, you know? So that's the unfortunate part about being in the public eye. Anything that happens, it's either it goes back to my family, him, or my kids, you know. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. It's not nice, you know, being in the public eye, because now even if something doesn't affect you, but it affects your children.
Yeah,
It affects your family. My
partner.
dad would get a call, go hi. Papa, hey, pull me now. You know what I mean? You know, my sister, people, how ngwana ko lona, you know. So it hurts me, I think, when things they hurt my family. I think if you want to hurt me, go after my kids, go after my family. So I think, but at that time, again, it made me also grow and say, you know, Palisa, there should be boundaries. Just know anything that you do, there are people by long they get hurt, you know. So, like for example, Owamie, I would be like, okay, there are things that you can do that I know I cannot do, all because of who I am, but maybe all because I'm a
Also
mother.
a mom,
You understand?
yes.
So I mean, I would love now matakodi night lapunki jive, but then because I've got kids, especially teenage kids, I know I can't do that because now everything else would go back to
Wow, I've
you
never
know.
actually thought of it like that.
yeah.
No, I really have not. But
yeah,
that,
so
that has
everything
to
it
be a huge
affects
weight,
women.
ne?
It
Because this is
is,
the
you
first time that I'm actually sitting down and talking to a celebrity, though she was refusing.
Aye, man.
But no, this is the first time that I can say I'm actually sitting down and talking to a celebrity who is not a friend or someone that maybe we have met before, have had like private conversations, you know. This is like the first time. And being someone that is an entertainment blogger, my business is actually exposing celebrity Tende. So it's quite interesting to actually like sit and just listen to, oh, so this is what happens behind the scenes, because for us it's entertainment.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? And so to actually hear you talk about that, like that kind of makes me feel a bit sad.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Gori, like, you know, when I was saying, especially earlier, it's very funny how people look at me and they reference me to "Onale ngwana le Somizi," but people don't know I actually am a mother of 3 kids.
Yes, I also didn't know.
2 graduates
Yeah.
in that,
At
you know.
that.
My last born in high school, you know. People don't know I was married for 15 years
Yeah.
to my best friend. So I've got a life outside of these people that you see as your idol, as you see as your superstar. You know, my life doesn't revolve around him. The last time I was with this person was when I was 19 years old, and now I'm 50 and fabulous,
over
and you still want to
31
ask,
years ago.
and you still want to DM, and you still want to say, hey, so Mizuka, what's along, you know, and thing. And some people can be very disrespectful. I want to baba biswang defend. Fans can be very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Understand? They're very disrespectful, but I realize though most of them are bitter and most of them don't have lives, because if they have life, people that have lives don't do what they do.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
people that always maybe are always negative being are people that are probably sitting here, hotspot, you know,
Yeah, misery loves company.
but then people by long they are business people that are serious with their lives, they don't have time to sit around banse ba tlo shebana le di-posts tsa batho banse ba comment and, you know, talk about some music that I'm like, that's your music, it's got some music when I get fan ya high. But to me he's not, you know, to me he's the father of my child. I've never denied him, and I don't I've never been embarrassed about it. I'm not even embarrassed about it, and I can even still talk about it, you know what I mean. Right now I've accepted he's got a life and a fabulous life, and you know, I laugh, you know, like I also look at him and like, yo, okay, yeah, mara palisa, ay mara luena, mara. So right now I laugh at myself. Oh, yo, mara, what were you thinking? But anyway, I love the fact Dowry. He's a hard worker, and right now I love the fact Dowry. I think he's now having a very good relationship with a daughter. You know what I mean? So Bahumi can even boldly
from
say,
what we see, yeah,
you know, Bahumi has 2 dads. He always says, Lena, you know, I've got 2 dads. You know, it's just that because people know so easy, people think, you know what I mean. But Bahumi is real dad. Real dad, or
the
like
one that raised
the one that raised her, the one that fathered her, the one that raised her. That is my ex-husband. That is Papa Kumo le Muhumi. You know what I mean? Because even now, Bahumi call him dad. So all the kids, they call him dad. You know, I mean, even now we still do the lunch together. You know what I mean? Yesterday it was Bahumi's birthday. Dad took us all out. We went on for lunch and things like that. You know, so I think Ori, people only want to idolize or to praise what they see. How post that video 59 seconds Bahumi, and then you wanna come and say, oh wow, oh shame, oh, you know, I'm like, okay, what, there's life beyond that 59-second video we posting. Bahumi is Bahumi wapara, Bahumi needs roof, Bahumi has a life, Bahumi needs emotional support, Bahumi needs advices, Bahumi needs a one-on-one conversation. If you can go back to if living a dream and listen to Bahumi's diaries, you will understand what I'm talking about. And if I can also talk about that living a dream, also know who that show was playing for you. Was it only an hour, if not 30 minutes? So there's a lot of things that were edited out, especially on diaries that Bahumi spoke about, that I spoke about. But because we do not have the power at choosing what goes live and what doesn't go live, you would be shocked what got edited out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You will also be shocked what goes on behind the scenes of our daily life, of how we live. You know, instead of just maybe looking at that 59-second video or wow, party the child was there for only an hour and then coming back home TV. There is a life beyond that 59-second post airing happy birthday, and then from there your child goes back to her own life. And I'm not saying it's because Kibatlashlaza anybody, but all I'm saying, this child is a grown woman. One day she will talk. I will not talk because now she's got her own voice right now. Now what shut me up before, it was because the motherhood in me kicked in. I became a mother. I am a mother. The nurturing part in me had to kick in to protect my child, to protect my name, to protect my brand, to protect, even not only my brand, but also the new family that I had, to protect the husband. Because anything, and remember I have a husband. The husband, family. So it was also difficult for my ex-husband then. Everyone would always talk about his wife. You know what I mean? Every man needs to have a pride, but how does that happen when I always how and things like that? So it's very difficult. It's not easy. It might look easy, it might look entertaining. Sometimes our lives look entertaining to other people. You look at people right now entertained, comment, but then not to me. It's deeper than that. It's my life, it's my journey, it's me raising a child whose father is gay. Now, not only dealing with me, but also having to deal with the child emotionally. Protecting the child mentally, psychologically, always having to go fight, always having to go to school, my teacher, everything. I had to fight and protect and say, and not only that, but now also my other children who went to who were bullied at school. There was a time my son, high school, somebody your dad is so miserable. At that time, his dad is Jake's. That child was so angry, like they had a fight. I had to be called because my son beat up the child. My little girl as well now go high school. Some kids bullied her. They wrote Zoe, like my little one, not even last year, when they were having an argument, and then these kids, they wrote a letter, and then they made fun of it. And they started saying, we're going to put your mom on YouTube, your father. And then they started singing every time when they see Zoe, Gaga, you know what? My child cried. Apparently, they found my child. Go cure, more school, more not riding. My child went to the bathroom, started crying because now I'm thinking, what if my child commits suicide? Because now she's being bullied. And she's like, but mommy, she's not my dad. So now you can imagine, now I protected Bahumi. Now I had to protect my son. And now I'm dealing with that. You know what? I'm protecting my little girl at school because they're being bullied because of somebody whose life is going on. Somebody whose life is now uba free. Whether Bahumi ufila juang, whether yes, life yes, we I'm happy, you are happy. Everybody is supposed to be happy. Everybody is supposed to be free. But not personally, even in my freedom, I knew I have someone who I need to protect. So whatever it is that I do, whatever it is, I need to think there is a life that looks up to me that I need to protect. I cannot just do whatever because I mean, but because you know what I mean? Maybe when you hit it that much, maybe you don't have the womb, you know what I mean? Not for me, the womb man in me kicked in. And that womb man in me, I always say, you know what I mean? Yes, I'm a woman. I gave birth. I'm a nurturer. Maybe that's why I react the way I react, because there is no error in production in me that makes me a woman, and no accidental blend of genes or chromosomes. That's why I'm a woman. So whatever it is that happens, the woman in me, the nurturing in me would have to come in and protect my cubs. So when yes, you are free to live your life. You are free to go on and say, hi, mina ngiyayiphilela. You are free to act the way you want to act. You are free to do whatever, and everything on you is on social media. But you do not think of the one that is being bullied, the one that is always being asked, yo, how do you feel? What is it? So, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, maybe sometimes some people would comment. Sometimes I don't usually like going to comments, but you would get those that would send you comments. But to an extent, I ended up saying to my friends and my cousins, please don't send me the comments. But in the comments, people would say, yo, Palisa o bitter. And I'm like, wow. Now 30 years later, like even after marrying for 15 years, you understand? And then just because now I'm telling my story or I'm protecting my kids, you are now who the hell are you to come and tell me who bitter, you know, and still disrespect me so much and call me a baby mama? You know what? What is that? What a baby mama?
Yeah.
Now that is so disrespectful.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Lona, you harikabula tsa lona di window gale okomela. O thola go tsa lona di nkgaphu ditaba. Like go ka thola go yei di nkgaphu mara wena o busy shebane le pale so tlo comment ntho sa itsebeng, and you comment about me. Right now I'm going to talk because my kids are grown. I've got a voice now. I've been suppressed for so long. And then now you've got a nerve to come and call me a baby mama. I'm not ashamed. I've got a child with Somizi. I've never been ashamed, and I'm not even bitter about it. Right now, I even laugh about it, and I even thank God who will find that, you know, is a lesson for me, because now that lesson is actually a story for someone else. That whatever it is that I go through or that I went through, a lot of women are going through. Basadi ba bangata they're going through that, and but they are not coming out like I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't come here and disrespect me so much. I've got a name to myself, and my name is Palisa ke Nompumelelo. You know, and it's a beautiful name.
A gorgeous one.
It's a beautiful name. Ke Palisa. Ke
I think
Palisa to you.
You know, there's this thing that I've actually seen, because I've also been called bitter. You know, I've also been called like, you're still in love with your ex-husband. How am I in love with the man I left? I think it's a new form to silence women.
Yes.
To be called bitter, because I rarely see it from when a man talks. I rarely see it. If a man is talking about what he went through in his marriage, people will say, oh my gosh, you know, let's support him. Oh my gosh, you know, that woman is evil. They will still say she's so bitter, even though she has not said anything. Just because a man spoke, women mostly are going to just believe
it's
the man.
Mostly women.
Yes,
that's
but
a
if
separate
it's a
woman on woman hate.
Yes, it's women on women hate. Because even if you're quiet and a man comes and talk about you, they will say you are bitter. But if you now come and talk, they will still say you are bitter. So I think it really honestly is that, and that a lot of people are very dismissive without actually listening to a story of what happened, and without actually having to see that everyone has a right. Like for me, that's why I say everyone has a right to share their story, because you have your own story, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to also ask, have you forgiven Somizi for what he did?
Now I think I have. I think it took me a long time. You know what I mean? Because even when I was married, I think it took me a long time, because I think it's because I like I said, sometimes you're not expecting somebody to come and say, oh, but I'm sorry, anything like that. But just to, you know, like I said, I don't think she's aware of what, or rather he cares of what I went through. But I think now that Bahumi is older and now we laugh about it, and, you know, I look at my life in the past, you know, I think I have now. I'm okay with it, you know what I mean? And yeah, I've got other kids. So I think for now, I think I have. I'd like to think I have, you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't even know what's as little, maybe it will you know, yeah,
Put
you know what I
back
mean, yeah.
bring
And
back.
for me, forgiving is not saying I love you or I want us or
Of
maybe or I'm here, or I want to put you to court. You did this, you did that. No. I don't even think I wanna go through that. You know what I mean? But sometimes if una le bona botho, ba acknowledge hore, you know what I mean. Maybe Lena, I cannot. I don't want to judge him. Maybe Lena, he went through what he went through. Maybe he's got his own story that maybe I don't know or I don't understand because I've never heard it. We've never had a chance to talk. You know what I mean? Because even what you saw on Living a Dream, it's not like we are communicating. We just came in because we're just supposed to come in and shoot. Oh, Rashuta. Oh, Bari Fabuka. Ah, they come in. But the funny thing, even everything that was shot there, a whole lot of things were edited out. And by the executive producer. A whole lot of things that were said on diaries. You know what I'm saying now. Right now, it's a YouTube channel. I'm glad it's a free channel, and so you know, yeah.
No,
so,
we are
yeah,
not gonna
you know,
edit anything out
yeah,
here. Everything
you know,
is
so.
gonna
But when it
go
comes
out.
to maybe the regulations and the policy and who makes the calls, there, a lot of things that were said were edited out. And I think why it was edited out because now there was someone who is supposed to be probably the brand high that's supposed to be taken up there as if now we're building this brand. We can't take this brand in this manner
light,
because now advertising might go because now you know what I mean. So now everything was supposed to take the lead role or the lead character in this glorious because now they're chasing followers. Now they're chasing followers,
which really honestly is an issue. But you know, also just going back to the time where, because you know, this interview wasn't even about this. We're here for something else, but that's fine because we're gonna get there. But I feel like I would disappoint my followers if I didn't ask these questions, just so that you know what we can all just really understand. Because I feel like this is the first time I'm actually hearing a lot of things that you're saying to me right now. So you're talking about how the time that, you know, both your daughters would get bullied, your son would get bullied over, you know, obviously Somizi. Now him being gay, obviously, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that there's anything that people should bully another person for, but unfortunately kids do this, you understand. Now he has been very public and freely living his life. I want to take us back to the era of Mohale. Because when I tell you that all blogs were buzzing, I'm one of those people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, all blogs were buzzing. We were talking about different things. He's in France now, you know, there's this big proposal. It's so controversial because Somizi is dating such a young boy, I should say. You know, we're seeing how his family is reacting. We're seeing everything. Then comes the wedding. Then comes the times where they're sitting and Somizi is the one like literally saying you need to go and change your status, this and this and that. Now this is before all the abuse allegations and the blowout and the real, you know, documentaries exposing and everything came out. How did that affect your kids? And did it ever interfere with your marriage?
At that time, I had already divorced with my husband.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't really say, you know, about my marriage.
Yeah.
We had already divorced because even when I did the Living a Dream the first time, we had already divorced. Okay. I don't think I would have done it if I was still married to him. Okay. I would never want to disrespect that man. He's a very respectable man. He's a private man, and yeah, you know what I don't think I would ever want to disrespect him at all. He played his part, his role, you know, as a good father, as a good husband, and a best friend, and he still is my best friend, even though of course we would go on and off, but I regard him as my best friend. When it came to my kids, yeah, my kids were bullied, but with Bahumi, obviously we would have one-on-one with Bahumi. But the sad part about it is that it did, I think, affect Bahumi because we did have some, you know, chats here and there. Even though Bahumi sometimes would want to, she's one woman that would want to, she also covers herself up. She doesn't want to say much, and she wants to see his dad, Somizi, as a good person that she has always known about him. I mean, there's, you know, to him, ke papa hai, you know what I mean? But I think the relationship ya Bahumi Lesomizi, the truth is it started getting better after living a dream. And that was especially after I think he heard what Bahumi was saying for the diaries.
Oh, yes.
And he knows it, Lena. They didn't have that solid relationship. They didn't have that, ingingi. That's why a lot of things you'd be surprised just because you watch that episode in TV or that posting, then you think, wow, you know what I mean? But right now, I think they're in a better stage because now I think Bahumi is more matured, and because she's vocal, she was able to sit down and confront him. I want
Yeah, no, it's okay.
And they speak about it. So I think now, I think the relationship is better. They are more getting closer now. Now he provides, even I think maybe he tries here and there, you know what I mean? Even though he doesn't spoil Bahumi, like it's not like Bahumi is spoiled. Bahumi is not a spoiled child. Bahumi doesn't live got 10,000 every day. Bahumi works hard for her money, for whatever it is that she wants to do. But she even though her father is living wealthy or rich or looks like it, but Bahumi doesn't live like that. You know what I mean?
I would be pissed. Okay, so for me, I think the part where I would be like, it would be the fact that like we all saw the lavish life that Mohale lived.
Yes.
When he was with Somizi.
Yes.
And I mean, it got to a point where I do not know. I remember I even made a video, and I think it's still the most viewed video on my channel, or on Owamie Entertainment. And I was asking, like, did Mohale drop out of school? Because I remember when he got to the scene, if I'm not mistaken, was going to vets or something, but he was still going to uni, and he met Somizi. All of a sudden, it's private jets, private flights, and they're flying business class. It's Louis, like that guy had Louis almost everything and all that. And obviously, we could all see that this is the life that is being provided mainly by Somizi, because Mohale was young. I mean, he didn't have even though he started getting sponsors here and there, but it was all around the brand Somizi. So I would be pissed if my father was able to provide that for his partner and not me. Like, no, I would definitely
I think that one, I think one day baby girl will speak for herself.
Yeah.
But one thing that I know, Guri, it was his life, Mohale's life, was totally opposite. 360 degrees opposite to Bahumi's life. Bahumi has never been in a jet. Not that she wants to be in a jet. She's not that type of a person. She's a very genuine, woman like that. But I will not give you Mohale Hambi. You know what I mean? I don't think Mohale wanted that to happen. Maybe he came in there innocently. I mean, I met Mohale maybe twice, if not thrice. To me, he was just this innocent, young boy, and he's never been funny to me or acted, Nabile sometimes, and he would laugh, and I think at that time he respected me so much. So all I know, or all I can say, Kuri, definitely life ya Bahumi was totally opposite. Totally opposite, So how they were living their lives, but what I know, ngwanaka a iphela le nna ebile se ka mpala ke bua ngwanaka a ne a iphela le ngwanaka a iphelang hona yanong. It is totally different from the life that we saw flashed on TV. And one thing that shame I can say about that relationship, I can't say much. I'm not going to say much. I wasn't involved, whether in the beginning or in the end, and I'm not even going to comment about it. It's their lives. They were having a life, and I was happy at that time he had hopefully finally found somebody. But one thing that struck me was when I listened to Mohale's interview.
Yeah, now we have to
the
go to
one-on-one
the abuse. Yeah.
with Mohale. I just laughed and I said, sure, there's always three sides to a story. There's your side of the story, there's my side of the story, and the truth. And the truth will always come out. But pay attention. Do not maybe just listen to someone because someone or famous singing. The poor boy, I remember Lidi Chomitsa famous. This one was just Mohale. She had nothing. But not because I know the people inside. The way Neke Bonanga Denkiri, do not shut your ears because Lirikima, he's a nobody. There is so many deep things that boy said. If you are smart enough and listen to this boy, you will make up your own decision. You will make up your own choices. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to say much about Mohale. I can't say much. Mara interviewer high did not shock me. No, interviewer Mohale did not shock me.
We were, the rest of majority of us were shocked. So I'm shocked that you were not shocked.
No, I was not shocked. Remember, a lot of people that are viewing, that are following this, that are, like I said earlier on, when you are a famous, when you are a god, when you people bow to you, anything you say, you know what I mean? You got a lot of imagine having millions of people who are bowing down to you, who love you. People will follow the ones that they love. People will, people will bow down to the one that Luena, you say any negative thing about whoever, but Bamuratang, you will get trolls, you will get bullied, you will get, you cannot, there are people by long, they will never see the wrong or the fault in anyone.
That's so
to
true.
them, you are their God. To them, but they bow down to you, to everything. So it's even difficult, even like Abafon now, or even Bahumi say herself, like nobody can say anything,
Yeah.
So that's why now how how your story, you being labeled a bitter woman or sansana murata or batla chelete. I'm like, my goodness, how do you say batla chelete thing? No, there was one thing in a trender, Barry, she paid for my when I did a surgery. And like, why would everybody say she never paid a cent when I did an operation after my accident? And then it was all over the bloggers or anything like that. One person would pick up one lie, and a lie repeated so many times ends up being like it's a truth.
It's a truth, yes, that's
I'm
so
like,
true.
no, it is not so easy that I paid for my surgery, for my operation, my plastic surgeon. It is not so easy that paid for my plastic surgery. There's a family that helped me out. At that time, I was not working. The Litsiki family, they are the ones that paid for my plastic surgery. And the sad part is when I saw that, man, oh, shame, plastic surgery, that family, I think they were so hurt to say how
and then she goes around and she goes around.
That's why the funny thing is when you look at what we were shooting, they would choose and maybe do by it because they probably chasing numbers, they probably chasing advertising, and now they're looking at this brand and
An
like,
image.
hey, it was the scene that we shot. I went to hospital about Lisa flowers. That's the only thing. And I'm glad with Lisa flowers. They were beautiful flowers, and that's it. But then don't go around pick one thing and then you go and make, and then lie about it. That was a lie that Somizi paid for my plastic surgeon. He paid a seat. He did not pay even a cent for my plastic surgeon. Not that I wanted him to pay. I was just glad because neri shooter. And sometimes I even ask myself if nerisa shooting at Lotlana. You know what I mean? And then, I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, baby daddy. And that's it. And then that was the last kileka mona after that scene. And then that's it.
I think that this is just so sad, of the fact that this is like a South African culture. And it's such a sad culture, honestly, like it really is. And I'm going to explain to you to you right now. And the culture that we have in South Africa is absent fatherism. I don't know if we should even, that should be a word that is put into a dictionary or something. And it is majority, South African men. Majority of us have got father wounds. I'm one that have been very open with what's happening, and everything with my own father and everything. So people know about that. But I know so many people that actually have been dealing with things like this privately. And when I think about it now, because, I'm 34, and I look at my peers that have got kids and they've got absent fathers for their children. Now they have to play a father and a mother role. I have a younger sister that has got a son. That's my baby, basically. And his father is also not in his life since he was born. Now, I can provide, for my son, and I'm happy for that. I'm grateful for that. But there are certain things that no matter what, even money can't buy, and it breaks my heart because this past December, he had a friend that was coming to visit us, and then they said that they're going to come fetch him and they're going to go on vacation together because they're very close. And before I knew the setup of the family, I was so stressed, Palesa, because I'm like, oh my God, what if my son goes there? He sees a father and a mother and a proper family setup and how they are, and he comes home and we are not enough for him anymore. And that's not even even a child I birthed. That's my younger sister's son. And it was so stressful. Like, people don't understand. I remember calling my friend, literally I was crying. Like, it was really that deep for me, because I'm trying to have a son that will always feel accepted. Like, he should know that he's enough, he's loved enough, even though he does not have his father's presence. And so I find it to be so...
And when the mother speaks out,
yes, the mother is bitter. My sister can't talk about this, because if my sister talks, if my sister talks about this, she's bitter.
Bitter baby mama.
I'm literally an aunt, but I'm already saying this because we are so close. We are raising this child together. So it really isn't even always just about the money aspect, the providing for the child. There's also an emotional aspect where you long and you wish your child had their father who is alive. I mean, this man is not dead. You understand? So the wounds really do cut deeper, and I don't understand why women are constantly trying to be cut short. It's almost like, oh, Palisa, it's been 30 years, you should heal. Why should anyone actually put a time limit to your healing? You are the one that was hurt. You're the one that had to go through all this stuff day to day. You understand? So it's something that really...
I'm still talking about it 30 years later. Okay, now I should be quiet, and like, well, now who are you to come and suppress my voice?
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? Now, it's very funny, because if we can look at your story when in your life, maybe we'll be very surprised,
1,000%.
Yeah, and especially the sad part, a lot of people that would say such comments and do this are women. Women have a way of putting other women down. Women have a way of, just belittling other women. Women have a way of hating other women, whether in a job space, in a, I don't know,
they say a woman's greatest enemy is another woman.
Yes.
And it really honestly is such a sad thing, because men actually benefit from this. Men benefit from this. They wrong you, they come to Owamie, and then I believe them without ever even hearing your side of the story, and then I just hate Palisa for no reason.
Exactly.
And then I start going around and saying Palisa is such a horrible woman. And if you try to find and trace where exactly did it come from, you find that it came from a man maybe that was even cheating on you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It really honestly is something that is just so sad. But now, obviously, as we're wrapping this up, I want to know the time that now the Mkhali documentary came out. Now it's up and down. This a lot of stuff that I don't even want us to get into right now. Did your kids experience bullying with that?
My kids experience bullying, like I said, with Somizi, not about Mohalo or anything like that. I don't know about Bahumi. The other thing, some people are so bold enough or so bitter to even DM, you know what I mean? So Bahumi is one person that sometimes she would never even come and tell me, so and so said this, or she just keeps it to herself. That's why, I look at that girl and I say, the way she turned out, she's like strength personified. This woman, she's a young, bold, strong woman. I mean, out of everything else that, growing up with parents who are in a public figure, who are public figures, and not only are public figures, but a father who is openly gay, a father who's always in the papers, a father, a mother who's also sometimes, bullied or being, so I can just imagine, how it affects her or affected her psychologically or emotionally or spiritually. So I just thank God, she found God in her life, independently so. And I don't know how she draws her strength, because to me, she is my strength. I don't think I would have been where I am right now if it wasn't of her. The way I saw her embrace this life, the parents are high, the way I saw her, overcoming it and trying to block it and accepting. I think her acceptance made me a stronger mother. The way she's handling everything else. I think she's the one that it healed me. That's why I'm no longer angry, I'm no longer bitter or anything, because I think of the way she was basically my strength. But somewhere back in my mind, I always ask myself, if she's my strength, who is her strength?
Yeah.
I know God is there, but I just feel like, I wonder one day Haka Besta or,
what's gonna happen?
But one thing that I know, she's just living her life, and, she's, but I think she's good.
No, that's very nice. I think the last question I would ask, because again we want to move from this, guys, is, do you think there's anything that Somizi could have done that would have helped in easing the abuse that your children got?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She's not part of our lives or their lives, you know. He is living his own life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think that he would if given a chance. I just feel there are some people that are living their lives for the public. And what I'm saying basically, Gori, the public's opinion about them matter so much than their families. You know what I mean? Like basically all I can say is when somebody is probably supposed to be so successful or anything like that, the thing that I'm saying is that source, we don't know source of success here is what guy, because how Sheba, all that wealth and partying and everything, you'd rather spend your parties and your money to everyone else. You will throw parties, you will do this, but you will never do it for your own family. So if maybe you want to go and comfort somebody and talk about a what, you know, maybe advising on men talk on vice, you'd rather advise somebody. If you want to throw, you know, a party, you'd rather throw a party to people that everything, that money is being spent on
In
the public, in public
so that
and to
people
people,
praise you.
but not for your family, not for your child, not for your family members. Chelete o haitswa, chelete o ikampani ya tswa ya going. So that's all I can say.
I feel like you just
So,
described my father, hey? No, I don't
and
even
then
want
you
to
ask yourself, but we don't know why people ke bona ba tsebang hore nna ke tsa chelete ha kana kana chelete o dan lore ke spendele ngwana ke dan lore ke spendele family ya ka dan lore ke letse go tsagalang. Why is everything like you can throw a party le paletsa men di jet le di holidaying o letse batho
Proposals in
etseng,
France.
but ya how family
My goodness.
and I ke re ya how family a ke bui fela ka ngwana hao. And I'm not here to expose anything or talk, but I'm just telling my side of the story, my journey, how I'm living right now. Not that I'm bitter, not that I want anybody's money. And by the way, no, I am not down and out. I don't want anybody's money. Balisa has got a company, Tabamu, you know. I do project, I do activations, I do project management. You know, I also consult with Moja as well as a associate producer. The show Yazoto Wabantu, I'm the one that was co-producing it. There was a show called Moja Love that I also co-produced as well. I have an NGO as well. That NGO is Come Out Foundation. I work with government, so it's not like we know the funny thing about bloggers and Batubadi Pampiro, whatever. They would want to write anything about you if you're a public figure. They would want to write anything in negative because they want to sell papers. I think last year I was doing this other project. You know, when I was working with Moja Love on that other project, I work with Skin GP, you know, Temba and Zemando Kumalu, Lukele. So we have an office, go Bedford View. So always I can lead the project. I go to that office and then go Bozi Moja, they pick it up and they say, oh, Palisa is working 9 to 5. I'm like, you know, the lie about it, the evilness about it. Yes, there's nothing wrong about working 9 to 5, but have you ever asked me? No, I was not working. I don't work for Temba. I work for my own. When I go to that office, I go to that office as a director and the owner of my company. I do my own projects. And the reason why, because I don't want to be one day one of those artists just because you don't see me on TV does not mean I don't work or I don't have a company. You know, TV is not my life. I have a life beyond that. I'm a mother, yes, I'm a woman of God, and more than anything, I've got my own company. And yes, when you are self-employed, there are days when the project is there, there are days where there's no work. But then I can never be down and out when I have a family by they're high profile. My sister's got a very high profile job. Even on months we are not working, my sister knows how to pick me up and say, I've got a sister who's an advocate. Every time I create lady case boost. So how can you call me down and out when I've got my uncle who's a judge, my sister who's an advocate, my sister who's got, I've got very good family. I've got my dad my dad stay alone. Even if it can happen, maybe do better. I've got a home And by the way, I just bought a stand cash DPS. So
Now,
very soon
right
I'll be
that,
getting
Zimoja.
paid. So just because you don't see Palisa
Yeah.
on TV, don't come and say Palisa o grele 9 to 5 job ka whatever limited information we grele ngo tlasa carpet and come and belittle me like that. No, don't do that. Don't do that, Zimoja. Please, you better recognize.
They better. I mean, at this point, they really honestly better. And I know I keep on saying this is the last, but I just want to, do you, I know that, like, being, having a child was so easy. The most beautiful thing came out of it, which is your daughter. But do you sometimes wish you had the exact same daughter, but just with a different person? And
Of
do you
course.
think it would have made your life a lot easier?
Of course, honestly, yes. You know what? Honestly and truly, yes. If only, you know what I mean? It was like that. Like, I would never change Bahumi for anything. I think I've got the best daughter ever. But sure, let that guy, man. That's why right now I laugh at myself. I also laugh, I can mona mo TV, I can like, mara no, mara le, mara, but now it's a joke, now it's a joke.
But I think
like,
that it's honestly so
just
sad, I mean, of the fact that obviously you're not like talking about everything here. You're still trying to, keep respect. If you're somebody that is smart, you will have picked up things here and there. But I find it to be just sad that you would sit and be on a public platform and you advise other people on their lives and everything, yet your own situation ain't sorted. You understand?
Exactly.
And being somebody that I feel like I've lived something like that for the longest time, it is the most frustrating. Because when you're dealing with someone whose reputation means everything, in order to get their attention, you have to go for their reputation. And sometimes when you love this person, of course, you wish they could just act right without having to take such extreme measures. But when it's not happening, then, it can quite be frustrating. So
even though I'm not the one to judge, but I do believe that I do feel like he's living more for the public, for the world, I wonder, people know who I don't even know what to say, but all I'm saying, I think he's living more for the public and the opinion of public and what the public, But anyway, like I said, ke choice high. Who are we to say live like this or don't live like this? Ke choice high, ke life high. So people should live him the way he's living, choice. Everyone will choice more either you choose that way or that way, but then do not come and say wrong or in. If he wants to change, he will change. Right now he's living his life and he's living the best. So please stay away, leave him alone.
Do
not touch him.
I will not even lie. Like one thing about me, when it comes to parents, I judge. I judge you like boldly and proudly, so I judge you.
It's almost some gaga.
No, not only just him. All I'm saying is, as a father, as a mother, you no longer have a right to say, I'm living for me.
True.
You brought a human to this earth who's supposed to live for their child. And I always say this, like I'll say this even, there's a time that I remember I said this and I got attacked and I was like, I have not given birth yet. But the day you give birth is the day the door closes for you to can ever say you're going to take your life.
But unfortunately, people don't think like
people don't think like me. People still do that. And I'm like, it's something that I'll forever talk about. Okay, people that don't have kids, let's put you aside. We're not saying your lives don't matter because I'm one of you guys. But all I'm saying is that when you are a parent, you no longer have a right to just say you're going to be selfish, you're going to only think for yourself. You do not do that. When you are a parent, that person, that human,
responsibilities, have some
a huge one, not even
true,
some.
True.
You literally have brought a human on earth and the world is such a cruel place. You and you alone, the two of you guys, as long as you're still alive, you make sure that person that you've brought to earth, it's
there
not
are some
fair.
children that have gone through depression because of their parents. There are some children that have committed suicide because of their parents. Like I went through, like I said, when I saw, the separation between my mom and my dad. Today I don't drink because I realized I saw how alcohol destroyed my mom. So you can imagine how it affected me psychologically. So you can imagine now there's so many children that are also going through stuff because of their parents. So the selfishness,
yes.
That's why sometimes there was a time when I was talking about my divorce and I said, I feel I was so selfish because when I divorced my husband, I can't handle banabaka. And people are saying, divorce. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. If you have an ear, you will listen. I've never said I want to go back, and I've never said I did not want to divorce. All I'm saying, sometimes like deep inside me, the honest, the genuinity in me, I'm so genuine to say, I never thought of my children. It was about me, myself, and I divorce, and I did it. But then that divorce affected my children. So when I felt about that sentence, that 2 seconds interview by Twister, sorry, divorce. I'm like, hey, look, listen, and decide. She just did it. 2025. Look, listen, and decide. Think before we.
Yeah, which makes sense, honestly. And I think, I don't know. You saw I got a bit, because honestly, like, the trauma that kids go through with absent parents is actually heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. It's so hard, but people don't actually understand. I'm so traumatized. I'm scared to have kids. That's how deep it is.
I'm so
honestly,
scared.
no, I'm being honest
such
with
a
you.
Beautiful
so
thing.
I'm scared of motherhood because I'm just like, because of the stuff that I've gone through. So it's as a parent, be more responsible for your kids. Like, be more responsible for your kids, Shem. Please. But anyway, wow, we really did dwell on this.
I gotta go pick up my little girl.
I
at
know,
school now.
right? But okay, you know what? I think you're gonna have to come back for a part 2 because there's a lot that is actually going on.
We didn't touch on.
We didn't even touch on it. So I feel like I don't want to rush through because I still want us to go and dive deep in your spirituality because I feel there's a lot there. I want us to be relaxed. Let's unpack everything because she did trend.
I did, yo. I'm from the north, south, east, west. Haibo. I'm thinking, what happened?
You trended, I also want us to touch on, your accident, your surgery, if you're comfortable with that. Then I want us to also touch on your new makeup that is actually coming up. So ninjas, honestly, when we started, we were like, this is the plan. But when you were speaking, I also felt like there was a bit of a venting sesh that happened and I really couldn't stop you. And I'm really happy for you for that because, when you take something out, it's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. So you guys are definitely going to see us again and we're going to discuss all this. I think that at the end, I'm going to just show you guys like, Palisa's makeup. I do promise that the next interview will come very soon because that's what we actually wanted to talk about. Oh, and you getting scammed.
Scammed? Oh. Yeah, another story for another day.
Another expose. So that's why I'm saying that I really don't want us to rush this because I feel, for us to just kind of know you more, we need like that depth, that enough time. So next time we're gonna start at 11 in the morning, so that we have the whole day. But okay, just before as we're leaving, please just introduce your makeup.
Okay, Koinonia Cosmetics. I'm proudly owning a makeup brand, South African manufactured. The name of my makeup brand is called Koinonia Cosmetics. I've got the foundation, which is SPF 30. It is waterproof and it is for all skin type. It is it is a South African brand. And I've got the blushes, I've got the lipsticks, and the name Koinonia came out. The name Koinonia basically means fellowship. So I decided this is time where, women come together, and discuss our beauty and, just fellowship together. And of course, it is a Christian name, but then it is a makeup brand for everyone. So let's get a little bit of uJesu uthakafuni makeup. Mina uJesu akakhulumi nami kanjalo. You know what I mean? Right now, I want to celebrate women and I want to celebrate our beauty. So go ahead. The contacts will be I think Owamie will be the contact. But so far, I think I'm supplying to the hair salons. There's another salon in Rockville, Soweto, Vuyo's hair salon as well. I'm supplying the VMT as well, makeup artistry. So right now you'll find the makeup brand there. And that is me and beauty. And then secondly, I am a creative director of NXI Solutions. NXI is a manufacturing company. I sell technology. We manufacture smart devices. We manufacture laptops, smartphones, and we also manufacture desktops. So remember, all these smart devices are manufactured in South Africa, produced and assembled in South Africa. So we have an NXI technology company in South Africa. When you want desktops and smartphones, hit me, DM me.
Ne?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have your email address as well.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll be able to also just put it on. So I'm sure when she was talking about the makeup, there will have been, a screen that actually came, because I'm looking at it and it looks absolutely
thank
beautiful.
you.
I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to try some, especially
Yes,
blush.
please. Yeah,
Is that what you have on right now?
Oh, yes. I've got Kononia.
It looks so
This is Kononia,
beautiful. No,
And what I love
definitely.
about it does not smudge easily, just like that. Like I said, it's waterproof.
Yeah.
And it's SPF 30. So, and
Wow.
we've got all skin type. Even your, beautiful skin tone, I do have.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want it. Who knows? We're gonna have a video, and it's gonna be me just trying your makeup out, and then we
please.
can actually just see how it works. But it looks absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging. I'm sure you guys will have actually seen. She does have to go and pick her baby up. That's the only reason why we are cutting this interview short. But yeah, ninjas, thank you so much for actually joining us. And guys, no hate to anybody. I beg you, okay? I beg you.
But I'm glad to be finally here, because I'm like, Owamie.
I know. I was so surprised when you were like, I'm a ninja. I watch. I'm like,
Hi, ninja.
10 people watch me, guys. I thought it's only us unserious people.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for actually being open.
Thank
I've
you.
always said I will not interview celebrities. They cannot be open. I was wrong.
Yeah. And please remember, tell your viewers that you will be producing my podcast.
Oh yes, we're gonna be producing her podcast that is actually coming. We're actually going sitting and talking about the execution plan, because she is going to be working with Mupandi Studios. So ninjas, thank you guys so much for actually joining us. There's a lot of exciting things that are coming, and when we started talking, I was like, I don't know if she's gonna be open, like even with your podcast. Now I'm just like popcorn. I cannot wait. I love people that are open.
Of course.
I honestly do.
I'm an open book.
I can see. So when the channel comes out and the first episode goes up, I will definitely tell you guys about it, and I will also share the link. So thank you so much for coming, ninjas. Thank you so much for joining us. Please leave a comment down below, and please tell Paleza to come back quicker, because we need that part 2. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys, ninjas. Thank you. Love you. Mwah. Bye.